Hamas attacked the Saudis in that way, if they attacked another Muslim country, there would not be 2 years of negotiations with Hamas. Believe you me, it will be nuclear if nuclear was an option. The idea of a ceasefire and let's release some from Israeli prisons so that we get a few hostages back, it would be an entirely different conversation. If you entered Saudi Arabia and massacred over 1,000 people, it'll be the end of Hamas and that conversation a week later. I'll tell you that. Right?
Same in America.
There will be no International Criminal Court of Justice and talks of genocide and none of that. It'll be gone. So I look at everything through two lenses: religion and history. These are my glasses: religion, history, not politics. And I'm coming to your next question, which is hating Israel. People can hate Israel all they like. God gave us the ability to love, and God gave us the ability to hate, and God will judge people based on their love and their hate. However, I have a question. These group of 15 million Jews, they don't proselytize. They don't want you to become Jewish. For a very long time, did not have a government to defend them. For a very long time. Tyrants did everything possible, starting from the Pharaoh down to Hitler, did everything possible to exterminate them, and they continue to not just exist but thrive, and thrive better than the majority of the people around them. So you look at Iran, how old is it? It's a millennia, ancient civilization. So is the Jewish nation. But after the Israeli independence in 10 years, they were on par with Iranian technology, right? So, and that's what Saddam Hussein couldn't believe. Like, how? How do they do that, right? With all the challenges and all the wars. So if you believe that God has nothing to do with these people, and that they are the enemies of God, right? You should think again. Because I'll tell you this, there are religions that have gone extinct for one of those reasons. Having a tyrant come after you, or simply not proselytizing. Right? And simply not having anyone defend you. There were religious groups that have vanished in the region for one of those reasons. And Israel has 3 of those reasons. The Jews have 3 of those reasons. And so clearly there's something between them and God. Right? Clearly, I'll tell you that. That these people will be there. And here's the thing. The understanding of Jews in Islam is extremely different from the understanding of Jews by Muslims on the ground today.
Really?
Yes. God says in the Holy Quran, for example, chapter 2, verse 62, right? Or for example, in chapter 5, verse 20 onwards, O children of Israel, enter the Holy Land that God has written for you. The Holy Land. You know Israel's borders today? They are part of what is the Holy Land. The whole of Sinai is the Holy Land. Moses in the Holy Quran, it states he entered Sinai and God said to him, Moses, take your sandals off. You are now in the Holy Valley. Right? A symbolic gesture. You know, you enter a mosque, you take your shoes off. I'm not saying now you can't wear shoes or boots there, but symbolically, when you claim it. And so God designated this entire region of Judea for the Jewish people, for Moses, my prophet and your prophet, Moses. And Hamas wants to steal that from Moses. I don't care what people think about Israel or Jews. You want to be anti-Semites? God's going to destroy you. That's onto you. But to steal from Moses is an entirely different conversation with an entirely different defense. Because the number one defender for that is God himself. That's why you're always losing the wars. That's why God hates you. Because you're simply saying Judea belongs to Muslims. And Muslims want nothing to do with Judea. We have nothing to do with Judea. Here's the thing. Here's basic history, okay? So our Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, passes away in 632, in the year 632, right? On his deathbed, he orders a young man by the name of Usama, the son of Zayd. So there are historic narrations if he was 16 or 17 or 15. Point is, he was a young man. He said, Usama, get your army ready, you're going to war. And the Prophet's laying in bed. Usama says, who are we fighting against? He says, the Romans. Because I vowed that I will avenge your father's blood before I die. Your father Zayd was killed by the Byzantines. So what does that mean? It means until the Prophet's last day, he was at war with the Byzantines who were governing Jerusalem. The Prophet never went to Jerusalem. And the whole idea of the miraculous journey, you've heard this before, that our Prophet supposedly flew on a donkey or flew to heaven on a horse, right? Small brains believe in foolish things. Firstly, it was not a donkey or a horse. Muslims believe that the Prophet had this experience and it was involving the Archangel Gabriel. Right? Now, I don't care who it was or how it was. Here's my story. If you're going to the heavens, are you going from the ground upwards or are you going across?
You think going up?
Going up. So the Aqsa mosque is in the heavens. Al Aksa, the word Aqsa means the farthest mosque. The word Aqsa means the farthest mosque. We believe, Muslims believe, there are mosques in the heaven. We believe the angels pray in mosques in the heavens. We believe in that. You can think I am out of my mind. That's fine. But that is the Muslim belief. No problem. Believe all you like. We believe on top of the Kaaba, the black cube in Mecca, above it in the heavens directly, there's another mosque called Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur. Right? So that's that. And we believe there's another mosque in the sky. Why? Because the sixth successor of the Holy Prophet, his name is Ja'far as-Sadiq, tells us, as for Al-Aqsa Mosque, it is in heaven. Okay, that's why it's called the farthest mosque. Okay, so what about the one in Jerusalem? Well, that was built in 705 by Abdul Malik bin Marwan, the fifth caliph of the Umayyads. He built it 73 years after the Prophet had passed away. So how can the book that Revelation had ended with the Prophet's passing refer to a mosque and a miraculous journey 73 years later? It doesn't happen. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. So mathematically it doesn't make sense. Historically, the Prophet was at war with the region. But this whole idea that Jews can't be neighbors, that's what it's down to, Brandon. Jews cannot be the neighbors according to the Muslim Brotherhood. The end. They have a problem with Jews being their neighbors. You know what? You asked me about Netanyahu. What if the Jews decided to have a kingdom, to have a theocracy? What if the Jews in Israel decided to have a communist government? What if they wanted to be socialists, have Jeremy Corbyn as their leader? You think they'll still be accepted? No, the Muslim Brotherhood doesn't want Jews, period. Basically, Hamas says, in all flavors, no Jews allowed. So, and you see that translate on the street today. There's a problem in the Middle East, they'll attack a Jewish restaurant. What's your problem with the Jewish guy's stomach? He wants to eat kosher. Why would you attack his restaurant?